I think that has been for me the greatest benefit so far of being in Los Angeles is finding peers, mentors, and people who are better than me who are making sure that I'm being pushed to my limit in terms of my capabilities, because that's how humans work. When we get lazy and happy and fat, like that's what happens. We get fat and lazy.
Complacent.
We
Yeah.
we complacent. We don't, unless we are forced to, you know, to improve ourselves because we're put into a challenging situation. When we're not dealing with any challenges, we just become complacent. We just don't want to it's like working out. Like that's why I have if I can, I try to bring somebody who's much better at the gym than me or like a trainer or whatever, because I'm happy lifting 15-pound weights, for life.
We are the
Get Reelisms Podcast.
I am Adam Chase Ren.
And I am Christine Chen. And surprise, we're both filmmakers.
We get into it by sharing secrets, advice, and gossip in filmmaking.
And we even get our other filmmaking friends to share theirs too.
So please, everybody, join us for
an ode to filmmaking.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in action for another episode of the Get Reelisms Podcast, episode 148, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Chase Rennie.
My name is Christine Chen.
It's been a minute since we've done a episode, just the two of us.
You and I.
So what's happening? You're house sitting?
I was house sitting. That's probably why you've seen changes in the background, which I actually really love visiting our old podcast to see how many places I've been where I've recorded the podcast. But I do this thing where I go and house sit for various people. It started off being the first one being in London and the next one being in Vancouver. But then I thought, you know what? LA is huge. Let me see if there's places that I wouldn't otherwise go to because it's so far away from where I live that I would like to just check out. And so I started a house sit for people here in Los Angeles in various spots because it's a nice, I treat them like writing retreats. I love
totally
where I live in terms of my roommates, but they're so cool and so fun that if they're like, hey, let's watch something or they start chatting with me, I just want to chat with them and hang out too. And then everything that I had planned to do goes out the door, especially when it comes to the 100th fellowship app that I have to write. So now when I go and isolate myself basically at someone's house sit, then I have no other excuse because I only have a dog or a cat to hang with me. And then I buckle down and just do the 100th essay that I have to write for the 100th fellowship app that I've been submitting to.
Right.
So that's kind of been my technique. And a lot of these places are really nice. And so I was house sitting in Silver Lake all last week. It was great because having been there, I'm like, I would never live in Silver Lake. But it was fun for that week or two that I was there. It was nice to experience it and be able to walk to different various places around Silver Lake. But dealing with the hills and all that stuff, I was like, no, this Silver Lake's not for me. And so I'm just kind of exploring. There was one weekend that I did Redondo Beach. That was pretty cool. Again, would I live there? It is too far away from everything. But for a weekend, it was nice to be able to be pop out and look outside and see the beach and walk to the beach.
And Redondo's nice. I don't think I've ever been.
Redondo's really nice.
Yeah.
I would say Redondo is it's not as nice as Malibu, but Redondo's pretty nice where it's not like Venice.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's the people there are mainly locals and not crazy tourists. And it's very clean. But it's not as hoity-toity as Manhattan Beach is. So in terms of the caliber, it's not
so it's low key. Okay.
Yeah, super chill, low key, and I don't know. It was a nice place to be. But yeah, so now I just pick spots and I use those times to write or work on essays because I'm a professional fellowship essay writer now that I've moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah. So you kept mentioning a fellowship app. So you're just writing essays for this. What is the fellowship app?
Yeah, so I've been in the last year and a half that I've been here in Los Angeles. A big thing about coming here is there are a lot of programs out there for mid career level filmmakers. Some say they're entry level, but they're not. They say they're that, but they're actually looking for mid level career folks. But
Nice.
they're with usually studios or production companies, and some of them they vary across the board. Some of them give you maybe like an intensive and a grant to make like your proof of concept short, or um I've applied to 3 things with Sundance, for example, and they're all intensives where you get to work with mentors on financing. That one. These are some of them are project specific. So I'm trying to, as you know, gear up to raise money to do En route, and so En route's the one that I submit, and it's like every single one of these is like 10 essays, and it would be fine if it were like 10. There are some of them are 10 similar essays, but the problem is each of them all want different word counts. So I really just spend most of my time trying to massage these essays into various word counts. My latest one is 650 characters. So I have to take full on 500 word essays I've written before and condense them to 650 characters, which is basically less than 100 words. So that's like where all
Wow.
my time is wasted, literally, is rewriting things in less words or more words. It's so dumb. But it's a necessary evil. And at this point, we're trying to raise money. It's kind of like throwing spaghetti at a wall. It's whatever sticks. And the good thing about some of these fellowships, it's like if you get into Sundance, for example, that kind of almost is a guarantee in for you to get into Sundance when you do make your film type thing.
Okay.
Because you're connected with the right people, you're in the right network and everything. They're these are expensive, which is yet another thing. I'm just spending lots of money, not like working a lot, but it's just to submit to these things. But like they group you with like the right. Some of them have investors already there who are looking for projects, the next Sundance feature to invest in. Or there's another kind of fellowship, which is I'm doing a lot of like directors fellowships. There's directors and writers fellowships. I've applied to both because I'm just like, whichever, just somebody take me. Those are usually linked to like a studio. So like Disney just had theirs, Disney Entertainment Television Directors
Wow.
Lab, I think is what it's called. NBC had their application was way away. And all the major studios would typically have them, and some of them, the biggest thing is they guarantee you 1 episode of TV to direct, which is literally career changing.
That's big. That's huge. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah. I know like 1 or 2 filmmakers that's what happened. They did one of those and then they've been directing TV ever since that program. It's one of
Okay.
those things that's like when you're in, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but they're extremely difficult to get into. So it's like that, and they have like 10 spots, and it's like 5,000 people apply to them. So it's just like
No different than
that's-
other film festivals.
I know, it's great. It is so great. Yeah, and again, multiple different essays and different word counts, and they all are extremely involved because that's a way I get it, to filter through people as to who actually cares. And I've heard that for the most part, you have to apply like 3 or 4 times to like get in type thing, because they do track you if you've applied multiple times, And so
They want you to want it. God damn.
they want you to want it. Exactly. So, and they want to know that like, if you didn't get it 1 year, like how have you continued to improve so that your chances the next year you apply are better, So there's literally like a column that's like, hey, are you reapplying? If you reapplied, why are you reapplying? And why should we look at your your application again? You know, like that's literally one of the questions. It's just like,
I mean,
gosh, darn it.
Jesus, the
I know.
level of fucking hoops you have to jump through in order
So
to just
many. Get your film made.
yeah,
I know.
or at least like
So-
direct TV, which is fucking huge. That is pretty big.
Yeah.
Especially with like big networks like Disney or NBC or anything like that. Like that's pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
But the amount of work you have to put in is fucking.
It is so much work.
You're pulling
It
all
is-
nighters. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it is so. Just think of it. It's like doing college essays.
Yeah, I
A
was
lot
about
of-
to say it's like high school college essays.
Yep,
and
that's
you're
exactly
just
what it is
pressed on
like.
it. But
So many.
650
and
characters, you said? That's not.
Yeah,
that's not much.
That's not. That's like 100 words. Yeah, so I'm
it's a
taking
tweet.
things up. It's a tweet. I know. So I'm just wasting. I feel like a lot of time just readjusting how I word something in various word counts.
Totally.
So it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I'd say.
and
Jesus.
you have to do it because everybody else does it. And that's not why you're not doing it because everybody else does it. Is because like this opportunity is such a good opportunity that if you don't try, you know, you're kind of, what's the point of you being in LA, you know, type thing. Like it's specifically great because they want people who are living here to apply because then they don't have to pay. You know, you don't get room and board, or you're not getting paid to do any of this, but it's like free school basically is essentially what it is. Free school. Here's an opportunity to have free schooling plus free investors and mentors all in one spot. So it is an amazing opportunity. It's just, can you get it or not? So all I've been doing is just like I submitted 3 last week, and today I'm trying to get another one in a good place so that my co-producer Allison Week, who is also a friend of the podcast, she's the one who I did the Hawaii Poniolo PBS film documentary. She's my co-producer. She's signed on, thank God. So she's been my it's really great. She's she's been there to be like, all right, come on, like the next one. All right, she'll send me another fellowship, and then when I think we're done, she'll send me another one. I'm like, gosh darn it. But she's there with me, and
She's keeping you on your feet. Yeah, which is nice.
keeping me on my feet. Yeah, which is amazing. And I think that is part of being in this environment, is finding the people who will be there to push you, right? And
Totally.
I think that has been for me the greatest benefit so far of being in Los Angeles, is finding peers, mentors, and people who are better than me, who are making sure that I'm being pushed to my limit in terms of my capabilities, because that's how humans work. When we get lazy and happy and fat, like that's what happens. We get fat and lazy.
Complacent.
We complacent. We don't, unless we are forced to, you know, to improve ourselves because we're put into a challenging situation. When we're not dealing with any challenges, we just become complacent. We just don't want to it's like working out. Like that's why I have if I can, I try to bring somebody who's much better at the gym than me, or like a trainer or whatever, because I'm happy lifting 15-pound weights, you know, for life. But am I ever going to be better? No. I need somebody who's like, dude, you can get that 45-pound weight. But I'm like, oh, but it's so hard and it hurts. I don't fucking care. Just lift the 45-pound weight, you know? And then you lift it, and then you're like, I hate this. I hate my life and everything. And then like pretty soon after 3 weeks of that, you're like, oh yeah, this is my new normal now, right? So it's the same thing here. It's just been getting pushed to do better, which is exactly what I want. But when you're in the actual moment, it really sucks.
Right. So what's the goal with the fellowship then for you?
I hope that I get into something.
Right. Yeah.
Please. I feel like I believe I have apply to at least 40 fellowships at this point. So
Fuck,
and they're
really?
all super
Holy
involved. So
shit.
I'm very grateful that there are there are so many opportunities. However, there are so many amazingly talented people in this world as well, right?
Sure.
So it's just there's a little bit of luck. Sometimes it's who you know, who you run into, who you talk to, type thing. So I did get into one last year, the Black Magic Producing Lab, and that was a great opportunity. I met a lot of cool people and stuff. So it's not like I haven't gotten to, but the ones that I'm wanting to get into are like very, 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 very difficult to get into. So it's like Harvard. So I'm trying to get into Harvard right now, a film, and my GPA is just there. You know, my LSAT or what my SATs are like, you know, good enough. So it's just like, can I compete with all the other people that are at my level that, you know, we'll see, you know? So
and being
just,
part of DGA, does that help the process at all? Or?
Sometimes I feel like
Oh, okay.
some application it helps, some it doesn't. Like I'm in this weird zone where for certain applications, I seem overqualified,
Sure.
yet underqualified at the same time. Like I've done more shorts than probably 70% of the applicants that are in it, but the shorts haven't won Tribeca or South by Southwest or Sundance or something. So then I lose out to the person who does one short that's got it into Tribeca, Sundance, or whatever it is. So it's this weird place I'm at where I am totally more qualified when it comes to experience, but experience in the wrong stuff that they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So it's extremely frustrating.
But you already put in the work anyway. So why would that matter? No. Okay. Well.
Because in Los Angeles, titles, brands, all that stuff, accolades matter way more than anywhere that I've ever been.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like, I'm glad that I joined the DGA for the fact that I can say Christine Chen, DGA, because here it holds a lot of weight. If you go to Texas and stuff like that, no one gives a shit because like it's like, hey, everybody can work. It's a right to work state. I don't care if you're, you know, whatever. But here people just know, oh shit, like
you're official.
You're official. You're a real filmmaker, you know, type thing. So, and like people's attitudes change, the way they talk to you, the way they actually pay attention.
Wow.
It's just there is so much noise here, and everybody is just trying to be the shinier monkey. So if you're not a shiny monkey, nobody's gonna look at you, right? And so we're all trying to be like, look at my sparkle bra, like I'm hot, like, you know, it's just you're just trying to stand out, and any kind of leverage you can have goes a long way, right? Especially when you are trying to get in front of people who are extremely busy and probably have 100+ shiny monkeys trying to get their attention, right?
Yeah. I mean, but the amount of like, that's so strange, right? Because like, even in a right to work state like Texas, it feels like, I mean, yeah, the community is smaller, sure, between different cities from Houston, San Antonio, Austin, you know, with all the film communities. But like, it's very tight knit, and there's no like, I don't know, like resumes. It's just like for like people here, it's based off of like, are you cool to work with? Like, are you a good person? Like, are you an asshole? Like, you know, whereas like in LA, it's like, are you an award-winning fucking like filmmaker? Do you have your shorts in every single fucking festival? You know, okay, then I guess we'll accept you. You know
I guess no, at that point it's not even accepting. At that point is like, cool, I guess we'll look at your reel now.
We'll
and then they
acknowledge
look
your
at your reel, they're like,
existence.
okay. Yeah, now we acknowledge that exist. Now are you cool? Yeah. It's just, how's your social presence on social media? How many followers do you have at this point? It's just like a hoop after hoop after hoop. I mean,
that's exhausting, man. I'm sorry.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, yes, once you get through the initial hoops, Roxy, also a friend of the podcast, she says that it does get to a point where it is who you know and who likes you and are you cool to work with and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm rebuilding everything, right? Like when I think about it and I'm like, when I was first in Austin, the first projects I worked on were student films. It's not like I immediately jumped to a paid gig, right?
Same, yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Sort of, yeah. By way of you, but
right.
But I also did student films, yeah, and I've had to.
Free. Exactly, yeah. But I think the hard part is that like when I was doing that, I was in school and it was okay from a financial aspect if I wasn't bringing in money because I was on school loans, you know? So it was okay to work on all free things for a while, you know, because I wasn't trying to survive. Now I'm doing that, but living in LA, where you have to make like $5,000 a month in order to like have any kind of decent lifestyle.
Your expenses have doubled,
tripled even, It's unreal how expensive it is. So, so that's about where we're at. Yeah.
Gilbert Baker said it can be exhausting. We are truly stronger together. Which is true. Unfortunately, LA doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel that way at all. Yes.
I mean, listen. I understand that LA is very. I feel like it's more about like the subgroups, right, in LA because of how huge LA is. Like, I feel like if you find your subgroup of people who are like-minded, like such as yourself and Roxy, who just want to work with like cool people, like together, like, you know, nice, talented, you know, egoless people.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't know. It feels like you can get a lot more shit done, but I also understand too that the access is phenomenal when you have it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure like the access has been great, even being part of a DGA, but I mean, shit.
Yeah,
we went through the last 2 years of podcasts of just you going through fucking hoops and obstacles of trying to get into fucking DGA, where I'm like, God damn, do I want to join a union? I don't know, man. This fucking sucks.
I don't know. Even what's crazy is now that I'm on the other side of it, I get to see what those hoops are exactly. Who said what?
Gina Manola says, all these reasons you described are why I'm looking forward to moving from LA to ATX, but maintaining my network here and frequently traveling back. I mean, yeah, if you have like the expense to travel back and forth, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I do. I still very much am always looking for.
Well, you're out of your mind. You drive from fucking LA to Texas. That is like, I mean, I understand it's like what, 22 hours to
22 hours. Yeah, I split it up into 13 hours and 10 hours basically.
I mean,
per day. Yeah. And so I like have a whole thing. Like I bring whatever food is left over from my fridge. It's like in a little cooler next to me, so I don't have to stop for food, and I only stop to pee. And like, there's a strategy. I just go, and
you don't
to me
sleep.
I don't. Well,
for
I
real,
do, a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I do actually. I actually do stop for the night.
Okay.
So I don't go straight, because if I were to go straight, I could do it in a day. But I don't. I finish it at like each day 10 hours, 13 hours. It's just like being on a film set. That's how I see it. Slightly less than a film set. So if I can get through a film set, I'll be fine driving. And then I just use the time to like listen. I call it my school. So I'll go and listen to various podcasts. I try to learn a language or whatever it is, you know.
Oh, I would be ripping audiobooks left and right in that trip, boy.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
So yeah, no. Austin is an amazing place. And if all the investors or the decision makers all move to Austin, I'm going, you know. But it's just the thing is, like, you kind of just need to be in LA for a little bit or split time to for people in LA, the people who need to see that you exist.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know that you exist. And once you've made it clear that I'm here, you're here, I'm in existence, then you can go and parlay that elsewhere, right? But
Right.
it's just I realized that I had to a certain point done the best I could with what I had in Austin. And then it's an like you said, it's an accessibility thing. I'm competing with people who it's easy to work on a TV show here in LA. There are not, like in my essays, half the things I'm saying is like were not really TV shows for me to work on in Texas. So yes, my resume is 10 low budget, ultra indie features. It's to the point that I went to this DGA ADUPM council meeting, and they had a list of people who were about to join, and we were approving the people who were about to join. And it's so granular. They go in and like, oh, this person has all these credentials, and it's like they really pay attention to every single person's application. And one of the council members told me that they had a great time looking at mine because it was all over the place in terms of titles and stuff like that. So they're used to being like seeing people go, oh, cool, you're on 5 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and okay, 3 seasons of I don't know, the Mindy Project. Cool. Of course you're in. Mine is like, oh, you're on this 10-day horror feature called Entity, and then you're on this other 10-day weird ass horror feature in Virginia,
Right.
like just all over the place. And so that they're not used to that, because the accessibility where we are from third area is just like you get what you get, right? And so when you're competing, when you have that kind of resume and you're competing against all the people who have like worked on named shows, named things that
Network
you already
shows.
know,
Yeah.
network things, it's fucking hard to compete.
Totally.
Grey's Anatomy versus, I don't know, Ursley, like what the fuck is this?
Right.
Like what is it? So,
And the ironic
yeah.
part is LA definitely does outsource, like most productions outsource to other states to get their tax breaks and whatnot. So it's like, well, I've driven to Texas before, so that ain't a fucking problem in your position.
No.
But like,
yeah,
that's again, like that's like one of those things where it's just like, yeah, the accessibility is cool and all, but like, I mean, I don't know, give me all of the award-winning people ever in existence, like the top of the, like people I grew up watching, right? Like, and that what is it? The quote, never meet your heroes and whatnot. It's just like, I'm so scared to work with like pretty cool. And I've worked with a couple of like cool people, but like, it's just like when you're at a high level like that, you just don't know what you're going to get out of it, if you get anything at all, Like I've definitely worked on those projects where, they give me that talk, like producers will give me that talk. It's like, you work I'm going to put your name everywhere. And I, I'm going to send your name all over the place. Haven't gotten a phone call, haven't gotten an email, haven't gotten a shit, which is like, whatever. I mean, they just want to gas you up and they want to be nice about it. Sure. Fine. But false hopes is also a thing that really rubs me the wrong way.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Totally.
LA is smoke and mirrors. And
that's like smoke and mirrors times infinity, because like you are in a cesspool of so many people who are like, you are so great.
Yeah, because because
I don't know you.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know, doing my best and meeting the right people. And I mean, recently I am starting to work, which is lovely. I got to work with under an AD, so that I actually appreciate, because I realized, oh shit, like it's just been me first ADing with everybody else, and I haven't really had somebody that I've worked under that has done significant amount more than I have that I can watch and see, oh, that's what an AD that's worked on 3 times the amount of stuff that I have, what I can do better, you know? So
Sure.
that's been great to be in a position where I can be a student again. And so this guy, super awesome, Glenn Miller, he worked on like 4 Sharknadoes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like all sorts of stuff. And it was just like amazing to watch somebody who's very good at what they do and just be like, okay, next time I need to insert all the 50 things I learned, you know? Like, and that is why I came here to LA. It is to be put in a situation where I am I'm no longer just a teacher because I've been teaching for a very long time, but I'm finally a student again.
Right.
And that's
And
the best.
is that like better? I mean, I'm sure you have probably had like a fair amount of like hustle, right? And does that, I would imagine like absorbing, like just being a sponge, like a student, you know, of just absorbing all this information must like be way more beneficial than just like constantly just on the computer, making phone calls, doing all these fucking things in order to get on these, you know, shoots. It's just like to just be a sponge and just absorb all this knowledge is I mean, that's worth more than money to me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
It is. And so so I'm very grateful because it's like finally it's happening. You know, it's like finally I'm getting onto things. That was my first DGA project here in LA, and I've been here for a year and a half.
In LA? A year and a half, really?
Yeah, a year and a half already.
It feels like it's been longer. It feels like you've been there for like fucking...
You know, it's probably been longer, but I don't count half. Like, it's probably been 2 years on paper, but like when I first moved, that was when I was doing the tour for Ursula. So I was gone for like 6 months.
Oh, right.
It wasn't in LA. I dropped my stuff off and I said peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was when I was I was in Austin for like 2 weeks, and I went to then was in Sacramento. I was also in Florida, and then I was in Washington. Like, I was not in LA, basically. And so yeah. But and so I couldn't do the things. Like, I couldn't go and network. I couldn't go to the events to meet people. I couldn't, you know, and that is part of like this DJ gig was because I met somebody at a networking event several times and they remembered me. And so when the opportunity came that they needed a day player second, they thought of me, right? But all that was a compounding effect of going to at least 5 of these networking events and being there, showing my face all the time. You know, that is so much time. It's so much time, so much effort and everything, but you have to do it because everybody else who wants to work is doing it too, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like,
it's hustle.
finally it's paying off. Yeah. So that in a positive aspect, like, I'm very grateful that happened. I'm about to get on to another gig, not next week, the week after. Again, same idea, because I met some people through the DGA and everything, and was able to land this thing, and then I'm shooting. So like, it feels like things are picking back up, because in the news, if you know, there has been a temporary agreement made with IATSE. Yeah. So hopefully this means that things will be coming back. But I mean, it's hard out there. And I saw a post literally
it's hard
today.
Out here. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody wrote, how many days did you guys work this year? And people were saying like 10 days, 30 days. It's really sucky for everyone out there. So like, stay vigilant. You're not the only one. I think it's when you're in this moment, it's just really hard to forget. It's really easy to forget that this is a very strange time we're in right now, and it's not because of you and your skill set and what you're doing. It's just like literally everybody is not working because of the environment and what the industry is going through right now. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's been for me as well. You know, it's just kind of like commiserating with with other people. I mean, there's still gigs for sure, but like they're very much like shorts, there's small
Yeah.
features, but you
A
know, they're
commercial here and there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and exactly. But and the commercials have really been just more or less like just keeping my fucking head above water with between bills and rent and all that, you know. Which has been great. It's been nice. And it's given me a lot more time to, you know, work on this new draft of my script, but you know, it's
Yeah.
still a fucking hell of a process, you know. And when you have that looming thing of money, you know, it sucks because you just like, and it's worse on your case, right? Because everything's tripled. Everything, you know, is expensive. You can't, and gas is fucking ginormously expensive. So it's like you have to take with a grain of salt, but at the same time you have to like fucking push yourself and
Yes.
hustle in an environment like that, you know?